What's up guys, I'm Marco Feudale and I'm a luthier. I build guitars for a living. Welcome to my YouTube channel FeudoMusic, where I usually talk about guitars and other things too. So today we are talking about this guitar, which is this is actually the fretboard of my marble top guitar. So, drawing the position of the frets on a multi-scale guitar is not that easy, but it's not that difficult. It's not that hard. It's a bit complex, or at least it could seem like it, but you just have to draw the position of each fret on both sides of the neck. So you actually have to have the profile of the neck or the fretboard, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing here. Draw the position of... Sorry, that's my phone. I'll put it in silent. Draw the position of each fret on each side of the fretboard, and then unite them together with a line. That's the fret. To cut this, since it's not straight, we can't use a template, we can't use power tools, we have to do it by hand, usually, or at least that's the only way I know how to do it, and that's the only way I'm gonna do it always, because I don't like power tools. I cannot say it enough. I prefer cutting things by hand. I'm more precise. I like it. It's like a meditation for me. Okay, to cut the frets, the fret slots, I use this Docety Japanese. So it cost me 15 euros on Amazon, and it's really good. It's a Japanese brand. I think it's actually made in Germany, and the blade is tough. Doesn't seem like it, but it's really tough. The teeth are tempered and really sharp. If you're not careful, you're gonna hurt yourself with one of these, so be careful and don't force the blade. This particular type of blades only cuts when you move it towards you, not away from you. So do not force this kind of blade, okay, because they are really thin. I think this is half a millimeter or a bit less even. So they are gonna bend like crazy, and if the teeth are not tempered... why is my lightsaber on? I wasn't using it as a light because I didn't know where the fret position was. Okay, sorry about that, but that's my lightsaber, and I'm gonna let you hear it because it's pretty cool. So that's it. Oh, I'm morbid. Okay, that's it. Sorry. Sorry about it. I really like lightsabers, okay? Oh, vabbè. Allora. So, cutting fret slots when you have a multi-scale guitar, you have to do it by hand. I usually use that ruler, I don't know how to call it, sorry, because it's made out of metal, and I can use it to make the first cut, and then I'll proceed by hand, because since I have pretty firm hands, they don't move when they are not supposed to. I'm really good cutting things by hand. I am able to cut a fret slot as straight as it can be, and very precisely. But I'm just boring you with these details, so I'm just gonna cut here, insert time lapse with a few with some music, and then I'm going to explain what I did after this. Questo silenzio cos'è? Sveglia, tutti a rapporto da me. Spugna, benda io la forca. Possibile che nessuno si muove. Ma sanno il comandante di questa lurida nave, di questa lurida nave. Non sono il capitano uncino, e allora quando vi chiamo lasciate tutto e correte e fate presto, perché chi arriva tardi lo sbrano. Avanti chi mi dà notizie di Peter Pan, lo voglio vivo, però quando l'acchiappo non so che cosa gli farò. Si prende gioco di me e fa il gradasso perché quei branchi di mocciosi stanno ad ascoltare. Lo credo non eroe, ma è solo un qualunquista, un esibizionista. Tutti i miei nemici e mi pericoloso, il primo della lista. Ma a voi vi sembra giusto? Durante un duello ha preso la mia mano, l'ha data in pasto quel dannato coccodrillo, ma non la passa liscia, gliela farò pagare con le mie stesse mani, anzi col mio uncino lo dovrò scannare. Eccolo in vista, e lui con tutta la banda. Meglio che questa volta si arrenda. Non voglio prigionieri, basta solo un ostaggio. La ragione è la vostra parte, ricordate, avanti all'arrembaggio, avanti all'arrembaggio. Non sono il capitano uncino, e allora avanti col coro, cantate tutti con me e ripetete con me gli slogan che mi ha insegnato. E i pirati noi siamo, contro il sistema lottiamo, ci esercitiamo a scuola a far la faccia dura per fare più paura. Ma cosa c'è di male? Ma cosa c'è di strano? Facciamo un gran casino, in fondo lavoriamo per capitano uncino. Io sono il professore della rivoluzione, della pirateria, io sono la teoria, il faro illuminante. Ma lo capite o no? Ve lo rispiegherò. Per scuotere la gente non bastano gli discorsi, ci vogliono le bombe. Io ero un benestante, non mi mancava niente, ma i soldi di papà li spendo tutti qua a combattere sul fronte. Chi si arruolerà un bel tatuaggio avrà, ma con quel trampolino io che non vado a fermare, lo sbatto giù nel mare. Ma c'è la fiacca, io mi sacrifico per voi, questo è il vostro ringraziamento. Pirati non siamo, il sistema lottiamo, ci esercitiamo a scuola, far la faccia dura per fare più paura. So you saw that I did a bunch of work in time-lapse, and now I'm using my belt sander. I removed as much material as I could from the neck with hand tools and a router. You didn't saw it, but I used a router. As you can see, there's signs on the wood. It's pretty clear that I use a router to remove as much material as I could. I cut the neck pretty much to thickness with an hand saw. You can see it in this live stream. Maybe I'm going to put you can see it in a live stream, and maybe I'll put a bunch of it in this video, so I'll let you see what I did, or probably not. It took me a lot, okay? But the rest I had to remove it with a router, and so waste a bit of material, but I saved a lot for at least 2 fretboards. So here I did something pretty interesting. Since this is a neck-through guitar, I have to cut the neck heel to shape before gluing the sides of the guitar, and I prefer to do this with hand tools. Here I'm trying to remove as much as I can with my belt sander, because it's pretty quick, okay? It's really easy to use, and it's really fun, but it can't go everywhere, so I was able to do a lot of work with this, but the rest I had to do it with hand tools. And there's another important thing here. I'm not shaping the neck until I glued the fretboard, sorry. And you can also see there all the fixes that I had to make to the trussed cavities because of that template. But what I'm doing here instead is I have to carve away a bit of material for the headstock. Since this is Fender-like, let's say Fender-like headstock, I have to have it parallel to the neck, but it's deeper compared to the neck and the fretboard. So I'm removing, I think, 6 millimeters. I don't remember the exact measurements, because for each guitar I use a different one, because why not, okay? I decided to use a router to do this because it was easier than to use an hand saw, and it was quicker and also more precise. I refined everything with my belt sander later, and then with hand tools like rasp and whatever. I cut whatever I could with the router, and the rest I did by hand, okay? C'ho l'anni del cucco, me scocchiano l'ossa, so vecchio bacucco, son pizza la fossa. Si faccio le scale, ci arrivo sfiatato, si prova a chinarmi, rimano piegato. Son mezzo ciecato, me guardo allo specchio e per quello che vedo son povero vecchio, so rotto, non sforzo davvero, c'è il caso sicuro che qui faccia il botto. Ma da qua non ho mai guardato, tutto un botto, un petter cori. T'è zompato, sei svegliato, sei rimesso a camminare. C'ho l'anni del cucco, me scocchiano l'ossa, so vecchio bacucco, son pizza la fossa, so stanco, so rotto, non c'ho più capoccia, me scordo di tutto, ma sai che me scoccia? Te dicono bravo, la prendi con calma, e beh se capisce, so quasi una sarma, c'ho l'occhio buttati, i denti cariati, le ore contate, le segue pagate. Ma da qua non ho mai guardato, tutto un botto, un petter cori. T'è zompato, sei svegliato, sei rimesso a camminare. Ma da qua non ho mai guardato, tutto un botto, un petter cori. T'è zompato, sei svegliato, sei rimesso a camminare. Ma da qua non ho mai guardato, tutto un botto, un petter cori. Sei zompato, sei svegliato, sei rimesso a camminare. So, after cutting the neck to thickness, it was time for me to cut the shape of the neck. So, why didn't I do this before? So, I would have larger sides, sides, let's say. I would have more wood left. Because I didn't want to draw the shape of the neck again, and it was easier to do it when the neck was straight, like it was a piece of paper, okay? This way it's easier. I'm wasting a bit of material, but we are talking about I don't know, 6 millimeters of wood. It's not that much on the sides, okay? It's not much more than I wasted on the rest of the neck, so it's not that important. Yeah, it's important because I hate to waste things, but here I didn't have any way to do it. So I tried to cut the shape of the neck with a bunch of tools, as you can see here. I tried to do it with a jeweler saw. Here in Italy we call it seghetto da traforo. I don't know if that's the right translation in English, but at the end I decided to use this hand saw because it's the blade is really tough and really sharp. This can cut, I think it can cut an arm or a finger in an instant. So be careful with this kind of tools. They are not safer than an electric saw, so be very careful. If you can, wear gloves. I don't, because I'm stupid. Because I like because I like the thrill of the danger or whatever, because I'm stupid, whatever. So same thing here for the other video. When you cut things by hand, be careful not to force the blade. This is stronger than the other one, and it's also shorter with finer teeth, sharper also, so it doesn't get stuck that much. But you cannot do curves with it. I do it because I'm forcing a bit the blade. I know that it can take it, but it's not the ideal use out of this. You shouldn't do it. To make it short, you shouldn't do it. I do it because it's my utensil. If it gets ruined, it's my fault. I'll just buy a new one, but I don't recommend you do the same, because you can actually ruin the blade like this. I know this blade can take it. I've done this a bunch of times. I can bend it a bit to direct my cuts so that the blade actually curves when it cuts and it doesn't go that straight. But as you can see, if I don't have enough clearance for the blade, I have to kind of create it and cut a bit of pieces here and there to make sure that the blade fits in my actual cut, so it's not easy. I usually try to cut things out, but sometimes I just take a file or a rasp usually and remove a bit of material, whatever I can, and then cut off the rest, because I want to save it. I want to use it for other things, and this I used for a bunch of other things that I'm going to show you later, or maybe not, we'll see. You'll know the dragon bones come. Non sa sul ventalò, qualche molto ma no, vengo snalo, ma vera la luz, ma schisa vengo sino mena, lui giorno, dove chi, dallo saw that I did a bunch of things in time-lapse. I tried to clean the truss-rod cavities. I make them as perfect as I could because I had to glue the fretboard. So what happened with those truss rods cavities? I don't fucking know. Probably these truss rods had measurements a bit not that precise compared to others that I used. So the ones I'm used to use, that I have a seller here in Italy which sells really good truss rods, and I usually buy from him, but he didn't have the measurements, the length that I needed, so I had to buy from someone else. And these are, they work fine, but I didn't like how precise they were. They were a bit not that incredible, so yeah, I didn't like them for a building standpoint. But I had a bunch of problems with these cavities, and I just ended up doing them by I just ended up carving them by hand with a router, freehanding. Okay, I don't know how it's said in English. I just do it by hand without using a template because I was more precise like this. So my template was really bad, bad shape. But after I fixed the truss rod cavities, I cleaned the wood of the neck. It was time to glue the fretboard. So it's not. I tried to use this old glue here. I don't know if I used this or no. I used this. Okay, because I have another liter of Tide Bond. I use Tide Bond because I like it. It's easy to remove if I make a mistake. I usually don't leave those pieces of tape there. I just use them to avoid getting glue inside on or over the truss rods, because since these truss rods, you'll see it later, but I think you already saw it in the last video, they have plastic tape all over it. They are made like that to avoid getting glue on them and to avoid gluing them to the fretboard. Even if you glue them on the fretboard, if there's that tape, the tape is going to break when you move the truss rod, and that is not going to be a problem. That's not going to be a problem. But if you want to be sure, you can always do two things. First, leave a bit of space between the truss rod and the glue, so that if the glue expands, doesn't go on the truss rod. And you can also check. You can also try to put pressure on the fretboard just a bit to let the glue spread. Remove the fretboard. Not too much pressure, because you shouldn't do that. Because you shouldn't remove the fretboard after you put a lot of pressure on it. Just a bit to make the glue spread. See if any glue went on the truss rods, and remove it. Just clean it. Glue the fretboard again. Put the fretboard there back on the neck again, and just put the right amount of pressure. So as much as you can, as much pressure as you can, and try to make it even, not put pressure only in the center of the fretboard, but also on the side. Here is a bit different, because on the center I don't have a truss rod, but I have wood. So I actually need to put a bit of pressure, but not that much, because if I put too much pressure in the center of the neck, and the neck is not exactly straight, this is, but can happen. The sides could lift a bit, so be careful about it, okay? So I'm just gonna put music here. I'll let you watch the entire process, just and not bore you with my stupid pronunciation. And thank you for watching, and see you next time. Okay.